everybody, CW here, back at the range. I got the Whelen out here. We are going to shoot some cast bullet loads and try and move our shoulders forward because we found I had that case separation and we found that my dies were set up wrong, so I was moving shoulders forward. So what I did was I just loaded up cast bullet loads. They shouldn't be warm at all, but I did load different loads so we can see about accuracy at the same time. But basically all it is to try and save the brass. So I sated the bullets long so the bullets are sticking out into the rifling, which should push the case head back into the back of the bolt, which should force 100% headspace, and blow the shoulder forward and fill the case with the shoulder and have perfectly formed brass that we can load. That's the plan. Let's hope it works out. We won't know till we get home. We're just going to shoot this. It's not really an accuracy test. It's just all for forming the brass. So it's bad. It's a hot day, so it's a bad one for this. It's going to take a little bit of time. So I'm going to throw you in speedy mode, probably get the first box through the gun, and then put the chiller on it and let it chill for 15 minutes, and then see how hot it gets and go from there. But it's going to be boring, so I'm just going to put you in speedy mode, and for you it'll be a couple of seconds. Stand by. And I got to stop shooting because we've got some guests on the range. Let's see if I can do this. It's not going to be focused properly. You see them down there? I'm sorry. There we go. We got Mama Turkey and a bunch of little ones. As soon as they get into the woods there, I can start shooting again. But there's my target right there. And I'm shooting away and I catch a glimpse of them right there in the woods. I catch a glimpse of them walking across, and I see all the little ones. Must have had half a dozen, 8 little ones with them. But pretty cool. All right, back to the shooting. Let's check and see how hot we are. I got 10 rounds off. Oh, I'm not hot. I'm not really hot at all. Just a little bit warm. And here's our cases. That should be enough to move our shoulders forward. Although our primers are just a little bit proud. That's not a good thing because we know we have excessive headspace because we know that shoulder was pushed back. So I hope that I have worries. We'll know back on the bench, but I'm betting it didn't move it. I'm betting that bullet wasn't seated hard enough into the rifling. Otherwise that primer would be flat. Well, the good thing is this load is a little bit hotter, and the one up there is a little bit hotter still. So this was the lightest load. So let's shoot off these 10 and then put the chamber chiller in and let it chill things down. Okay, we got the chamber chiller running. I got groups down there on the target, probably about 2 inches, but I'm not really trying to, shoot groups. But you can see a big ragged hole. And these ones here are just a little bit better, but the primer is still proud of the surface, which means that the case is not getting slammed back and is not probably completely formed, which is unfortunate. But we'll see what we get. All right, there's our first 10. We'll run this chamber chiller. That was 33 and 35 grains. This is 37 grains. So we went up 2 grains. This is a really light load. Went up 2 full grains. We'll give this about 10 minutes running on the chamber chiller. And then we'll come back and shoot the final 10. Stand by. I didn't show you these loads, but it's my cast bullet. 358, 318, 250 grain round nose. And that driving band is generally just above the case mouth. So that's seated out, so it should be just into the rifling. And the rest is, these are actual Whelen cases. The last ones were Winchester cases. But I still moved the shoulder back, you know, quite a bit. So hopefully it's going to be all right. I mean, worst we're going to do is we're going to stretch the case again, and we're going to be, you know, into a problem with our quality of our brass. But these all checked out fine, so we'll see what we get when we fire these. Now these are 2 grains more powder, so hopefully this is enough to re-hammer that back. But the idea is to jam it in the chamber, pushing the base against the breech, against the back of the bolt, and the bullet holding the case back, and then when you fire it, it just expands and flows the brass to fill the chamber. But obviously what's happening is, because of the slow and delay and the lighter and pressures, the case is moving around a little bit, and it's allowing that primer to back out to fill the difference in the chamber dimension. So we'll see just how much we get out of it. We won't know until we get home and put it on the measuring device. So we're about 5 minutes into the cooling here. We're just going to let this cool down a little bit more, and off we go. We're not real hot, so it's not really bad, but it's hot out here, so I don't want to make it too bad. Heat is what kills your barrel, so you know, these chamber chillers are a really, really good idea. I couldn't bring myself to spend the money that they get for them for what they are. They just don't need to be $100 like you get for them. This thing here, I don't think I got 40 bucks into it, and that's with the battery pack. So you don't have to spend a pile of money to get this to work. All it's doing is blowing air through your barrel. That's all it's doing. So it's not rocket science, you know. All right, stand by. All right, the 37 grain load was better. We got a flat primer. Not a flat primer from, you know, pressure standpoints. Flat primer from case forming standpoints. So that's better. You know, it was pretty sharp before we shot it, but we'll see what we get. When we get back to the shop, we can do some measurements. I'll show you the target, but we didn't do this for targets. Stand by. Here is 10 shots of 35 grains. No, 33 grains. 10 shots of 35 grains and 10 shots of 37 grains. They're all pretty close to the same. 37 might be the loosest. 35 might be just a whisker tighter, but then, you know, you take this one out and 33 is definitely tighter. So, but again, we didn't do this for groups. Just interesting to see just how it shot. So there we go. We'll get back to the shop and we'll see just how good we did moving that brass. God bless everybody. CW out.